But it's technical. What is a distributed ledger? What does it mean for a ledger to be distributed? You know, it's technical. If someone asked you, what is the blockchain? How would you respond? Now, when people ask me what the blockchain is, they're expecting me to say distributed ledger, cryptography, decentralized, consensus, blocks, and everything. Yeah, see, that's all good and great. But it's technical. What is a distributed ledger? What does it mean for a ledger to be distributed? You know, it's technical. So I just go ahead and say the blockchain is the third layer of the internet. And here's why I say that. So in the digital space or in computing, anything digital can be copied and pasted. If I were to send you a file over the internet, I can't send you the ownership of that file. I can only duplicate it. And that's what happens when you send something via email, WhatsApp, your socials. You are essentially sending a copy of that file. So you can't send the original of a digital thing via the internet. You can't send ownership via the internet. You can only send a representation of ownership digitally. But with the blockchain, I can transfer ownership. I can send ownership. That is why when you send BTC or F or any of these tokens that are digital things, essentially digital money, when you send them, they actually leave your wallet and appear in the recipient's wallet and are not replicated or copied and pasted, but actually transferred. So you could ask, Carla, is that the same thing that happens with banks when, I do an online transaction and I transfer money from? No, it's not the same thing. So banks are centralized accounting ledgers. They are debiting figures and crediting figures. They are not actually transferring ownership of digital things. It's a representation of the ownership that you have. So they debit you here and credit it there. It is numbers. It is the way that centralized ledger operates, the software that arranges it and all of that thing that helps bank work. But transferring digital ownership is possible because of the structure of how data is accepted, written, and stored on chain. That is why the term decentralized distributed ledger is important, because it is essentially a ledger system. So, if I were to explain all of these things to you when you say what is the blockchain, you will work out for me. But when I tell you that the blockchain is the third layer of the internet, you become curious, because you're like, okay, you already know the internet. So what makes this one the third layer? You get? So I want to know what your ideas are. Why is blockchain the third layer of the internet? Follow me for more. Is he Abby? Bring it. Tell me to bring it. She bring Yes, then. That's all. Okay. Why is? Okay. So I want to know what your ideas are. Why is the blockchain the third layer of the internet? So follow me for more, tag your friends who want to learn about crypto or about the blockchain, and share this to your story. Thank you.